Hey YouTube, how are you all today? I hope that all is well. So today I'm going to be doing a review on Sigma's new Flare palette, eyeshadow palette that they just released on June 24th. Now, Sigma is not new to eyeshadows. A couple of years ago, they had a collection of eyeshadows as well as blushes that, in my humble opinion, weren't as amazing as I would have liked for them to be. But I noticed that a lot of people on YouTube as well as bloggers found that the eyeshadows weren't as great as well. And I don't know if that had anything to do with them actually recalling those eyeshadows or selling those eyeshadows out and going back to the drawing board. With that being said, on June 24th, they launched a new line of eyeshadow palettes. Now, they have 3 eyeshadow palettes. One is called Bare, Dare, and Flare. I love that they rhyme. I think that they're cute in concept. And yeah, so these retail for $35 a piece. And like I said, they have 3 different palettes, the Bare, Dare, and Flare. The Bare palette, to me, reminded me a lot of neutral palettes. Think Naked palette, NYX's nude palette, just a lot of, neutral palettes that everyone already pretty much has a lot of. The Dare palette was one of those palettes that I thought was very, very pretty, had a lot of oranges and rust colors and bright yellows, but I didn't think it was as practical as the Flare palette. Now, the Flare palette, as well as all of the palettes, come with 8 eyeshadows and a double-ended brush from their line. Each of the palette sets come with a different brush. The set that I purchased comes with the E40 and the E55, the fluffy brush, which is very similar to Max 224, and the E55, which is supposed to be, excuse me if you can see the dust because I did use it, which is supposed to be similar to Max 239 brush. These are actually 2 of my favorite Sigma brushes, so that leaned heavily on which particular palette that I wanted to purchase. Now, I also wanted to purchase this palette because I am a person who loves purples, and I love the versatility of the Flare palette compared to the other 2 palettes. This palette gives me the option of doing a very bright look, doing a neutral look with a pop of color, or doing, just a purple look or blue look. I mean, whatever. It's just a lot of versatility with this palette. As far as color payoff, I think that the color payoff on these eyeshadows are 100% better than the eyeshadows that they had prior to this launch of these palettes. Let me do a couple of swatches for you. Like I said, the eyeshadows do have name, and there's 8 in the eyeshadow palette. I will do a swatch of Oversea, and these are very soft. Resist, as well as Beware. And this is what the colors look like. So the color payoff is very, very nice. Now, I will tell you though, the color that I was looking forward to having the most payoff, which is this beautiful purple right here, which is called Allure, actually doesn't have the payoff that I wanted it to have. It's a very pretty color. Don't get me wrong. It's a very beautiful purple, but the payoff is okay because I did a heavy swatch. But when I tried to apply it on my eyes, I was just like, where did it go? But that's the only one out of these 8 shadows, that doesn't have amazing color payoff. Now, I will tell you that the only downside that I see to this palette is actually the size. It's a huge palette, don't get me wrong. I think that it'll make perfect for travel because it does have the mirror there and everything, but it's kind of bulky. It's big, especially when you put it up against, let's say, the Naked palette. And here's the Naked palette, and here's Sleep palette. Pretty big. And that's the only downside. I do think that this palette could have been a little bit thinner. I do think that the palette, and then it stains. Like, look, I just put a stain on it because of the colors that I have on my hand, which is not something that's normal, so I won't even count that as being a downside. But I do think that the eyeshadows in this palette are really, really pretty. They are very, very versatile, especially the Flare palette. I can't account for the Dare and the Bear because I don't own them, because I felt like they weren't palettes that I was going to make use of because I already had products that were very, very similar. But the Flare palette, even though I have tons of purples and I have tons of greens and things of that nature, I just felt like this was the most versatile palette out of the three that are available. Again, these are $35 a piece. I don't know if I said that before. They are $35 a piece. And I think for the price, you get an amazing deal. For me, it was the brush alone that sold me on these palettes, because I love when palettes offer good brushes or something good, like a good eyeliner. When I got the Naked palette, it came with the eyeliner, and I thought that was outstanding. These palettes, when you can give me a good brush or something useful, you know, that's to me is a winner, winner, chicken dinner. So I'm not going to take up too much time talking about this palette. I will definitely be doing a couple of tutorials, a couple of FOTDs on this palette, using this palette to show you different looks. But I just wanted to come online and tell you guys about these new palettes. If you haven't already checked them out, I will leave a link below so that you can go to the Sigma website and take a look at them. And yeah, that's it. So until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye-bye.